Good evening, everybody. And we are having a nice evening here in Pittsburgh, PA. All right, tonight I guess we're going to do kind of a review of why we're in some positions. We did have a great time at the lake. Had some very good groups of people there. And hopefully they got their brains filled with valuable information. All right, so let's kind of observe what's going on here. The market is still doing what the market has been doing for the last few months, maybe 6 months. Notice that every time it comes down to the 50 or the 200-day moving average, they bring it right back into the uptrend. And they do it with reversal signals. Whoops. There's a morning star signal, close above the T line. There's a morning star signal with 2 indecisive trading days. Then there's a big bullish engulfing signal. And where are we heading? More than likely, right back up into this trajectory. Now, the only problem is, yeah, had the engineers, except for those pesky engineers, is right. The only problem is there's now more people saying, yeah, this market is going up a lot further. That's danger, Will Robinson. I would start looking for it to get just up in here and then start watching for some profit taking. Now, the NASDAQ today was not as, enthusiastic. Let's make this big enough where we can see it. Notice how, well, after it opened, it didn't go very far. As a matter of fact, it kind of sold off a little bit after it opened. So that's showing a little bit of weakness with potential profit taking. The S&P, now that is different. Let's see, F.SP. The S&P also getting a little bit indecisive up here. And the transportation index also leveled out a little bit, but still in the process of potentially doing just resting in here, getting ready for the next leg up. So what I'd like to, some of the other things too. Look at what crude oil has been doing. This is why I tell people, observe the obvious. But when you start fading, notice our blue ice failure. Fell through the 50, came back up, failed at the 50, came down to the 200. Then notice what it couldn't do, couldn't get up above the T line. So crude oil prices have dropped from like 105, and there's still nothing there to show there's any reversal. Interest rates, notice the type of pattern we have here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Kind of a scoop pattern with a slingshot effect. Now we're getting back up toward the top of the range, but interest rates not affecting the market. Gold is not worth trading. It's still in a slow, junky downtrend, and silver is kind of, ever since we did the island reversal up here, they're still in a downtrend. So again, this is kind of a review that if you just recognize the, the true human nature patterns or signals, when they gap up in an overbought condition, start watching for sell signals. If they have a doji gap down, you're in a downtrend until you see a buy signal and a close back up above the T line. What else do we got? The dollar. Dollar's still got kind of the same pattern, somewhat of a fry pan bottom, strong price move. Wave 2, if somebody wanted me to explain them a little bit more of the waves. We use wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Probably not going to be in a trade long enough to worry about 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 ABC retracement. So if I see a wave, and then I see kind of a counter wave, and a J-hook pattern can be a counter wave, and it doesn't have to be a pullback. It can be a sideways move. Notice what got the next move up, a bullish engulfing and gap up through this resistance level. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Now, if I was trading this, I'm trading this because I see wave 3 in action. I'll stay long until I see a sell signal. And then if it pulls back, that's wave 2. If it does another buy signal, this becomes wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. So I'm not an Elliott wave advocate. All I want to do is see what normally human nature does by making patterns. Opposite for the euro. Euro down, sideways wave 2, wave 3 to the downside. Let's see, what else do we have out here that would be of interest? I've been making some good money in cattle. Was short until we saw the Morningstar signal. And again, this was a doji in the oversold condition, opening positive, closed out the short, and went long. Next day, it kind of confirmed, which was today. Now, a little bit after hours, it's trading down slightly, but not enough volume there to tell you anything. And lean hogs, this one you stay short because, as you can see, once it closed below the T-line, there wasn't any buy signals in here. Still isn't any buy signals. So people ask, well, you're in the oversold area. Shouldn't you be getting out of your short position? We've been in the oversold area for a month now. So remember, stochastics are only telling you where you are in the trend. The signal tells you when there's a reversal occurring in a oversold condition. Is the dollar index? It could be, but again, the purpose of counting the waves is if this is wave 1, wave 3 is probably going to be equivalent to that. So at this point, you use the halfway point or the T-line to tell you that there's been a reversal. Otherwise, you assume that you're in wave 3. That could be a reversal. Yes, you could be taking some profits with the idea that it could come back to the T-line. But as long as you stay above the T-line, the uptrend is still in progress for the dollar. Okay, so uptrends like we have seen in AKS, and I'm going to kind of go through some of the ones that we've been following here for the last month or two. The reason is because they've had good charts. Notice what got AKS started when we first started going after it. Fry pan bottom with a doji gap up through the 50, and notice where it has not closed this whole uptrend. Has not closed back below the T-line. This one has been, now, this one is kind of what you call a steady eddy. So if you see it start being a steady eddy, and it pulls back and still can't close below the T-line, anticipate that wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is going to be a steady eddy. As a wave example, will you look at BLT? Yes. Did it go from a wave 3 to a new wave 2? Let me remind me when we get to BLT because I have it illustrating some other things. But we'll get there. Let's see, we recommended DRL a while back. Even though it's a REIT, it was coming out of this slow curve gap up and staying above the T-line. VJET, we just recently recommended that because notice what it did just a couple trading days ago. Left-right combo, close above the T-line, trading positive. Now it's moved up, and I was telling everybody, again, that I'm going to be doing a training video that just kind of what did I want to say? Consolidates all the observations that you want to make based upon 30 years of seeing things happen, and what. So they might not be they might not be a signal or pattern in it alone, but things start telling you what will happen as far as the next price move. So we saw a left-right combo. We saw positive trading, exactly what we'd expect after a left-right combo, little cradle type pattern. And notice where it went today, right smack dab to the 50. Now the probabilities at this point, are that it's going to lollygag here, wait for the T-line to catch up, and do a J-hook. So if it comes up through the 50, it's pretty much telling us this downtrending channel is broken. You probably have some good running room. So at this point, as long as it doesn't close back below the T-line, which tells us this downtrending channel is still in progress, get ready for the next move. So probably those words right there should have been more emphasized. What we're going to be doing with this observations is getting prepared mentally or visually for the next move, and I'll have a few of those in there. Potential blue ice failure, potentially, but I would think with the stochastics coming back up, yes, as long as you stay above the T-line, look for the J-hook type pattern. And I don't know where the 200 is on this. Whoops, the 200's up here. So if it did a blue ice failure, it'd be coming back down to the bottom of the trend channel. Whoops, hold on. Click this. All right. What was I looking at? Oh, UPL is one that Jay from our first group came up with. Look at the huge reversal. Now, I think I might have volume. No, Shaw, not on here. Look at the big, huge gravestone or dragonfly doji after a doji. Right about the same level it bottomed out, and then they gapped it up. There's your best friend. There's your island reversal. Again, this takes us back to that term convergence, where we can visually see everything coming together. Island reversal, double bottom, big, huge candlestick reversal signal, gap up through the T-line. All we can do right now is stay long until we see a sell signal. Now, will it get sluggish right in here between the 50 and the T-line catching up? Could be, but this information right here, this is where you wanted to kind of expand your view, that you're not looking at each individual signal or each individual signal in a trend. You're watching to see what started the whole trend. Can you distinguish what you mean by positive trading versus positive open? Really not any, just kind of the same terminology. On TS, what is the transportation index? Oh, I don't know what that is. Can somebody help? Abdu? All right, so this one is still your best friend. These are the type of charts that could continue for a while, especially if they break through the 50. There's a wee little teeny gap that tells you they could get through the 50. Then I think there's a wee little teeny gap up here. That tells you that they're okay. Thank you, Larry. Let's see. Now, the reason we like to stay with long charts is this was obviously ITMN. Just had a nice big pattern like this. Then it did this type of pattern, which we know what should happen after a big breakout type move, usually a 45 degree. So what's happening right now, once again, illustrates that as long as you're in a chart pattern that looks like it's still, or where the bulls are coming in, we may not have any notion of why the bulls are coming in. All we're seeing is that the bulls are coming in, so that you can be in a situation, or you put yourself in a situation where the probabilities of getting this type of move is that much more enhanced. So with that 45 degree, again, we don't always know what's going on, but our recommendation on JGW Same scenario, kind of broke out of a fry pan bottom. Now we're in that 45 degree. And so as long as we can recognize the different patterns, this one is following right behind ITMN. Notice your fry pan bottom, strong price move, J-hook pattern, and if I recall correctly, I think they mentioned this one as another possible takeover candidate. So that one was trading up somewhere around 11.5 after hours. So again, it puts you in situations where at least you're in the right position at the right time. Now that same pattern is right here in Tesla. I mean, this is as clear a J-hook or classic fry pan bottom J-hook pattern as you can get. And this is why is it so clear? Is because this is the type of pattern that occurs over and over in human nature. Breakout of a fry pan bottom, strong price move, profit taking, and then when the profit taking's over, that price move continues. Let's see, some other ones that we've been talking about here recently. NIO. This one's setting up nicely. Notice kind of the fry pan bottom, and where's the dimple? Right here on a huge Morningstar signal. We're still looking at this. You can be buying it, but I'm looking to buy it if it breaks out through kind of the 560, 565 area. Dave, most of the time I will get in I will usually get in on the confirmation the next day. However, there are a few that I will get in, just like the slow curve. If I see that slow curve setting up at the end of the day, I may start adding that position just in case of that breakout. Okay, ACHN is up to 1174. All right, thank you, AK. Plug. I think I did this right. No, I didn't. Plug also doing the channel. Comes back to the bottom of the channel. We'll probably go back up to the top of the channel. This one you just stay long until you see a sell signal and a close below the T line. All right, let me see it. And all right, here's, oops. If you were following this stock, notice what type of pattern we have here. First, we have a Morningstar signal. And then we have the scoop type pattern. And where did it bounce? Right off the 50-day moving average. What started this uptrend? That little hammer gap up through the resistance level. So here's a case where if it was closing near the top of the trading range on a scoop type pattern, I might come in for half a position. So with that type of, especially with the Morningstar signal, you see a flat trading area ending with a Morningstar signal, that means something has changed. There's a good possibility you're going to see a whipsaw, not a whipsaw, but a slingshot effect to the upside. We saw that in DYAX. Notice the uptrend. Now you have a Morningstar signal bouncing off the 20, came back up through the T-line, broke this little downtrending channel. More than likely, you're going to have some more upside, which means this kind of big rounding bottom, if it breaks through this level, is going to get back up toward the top of this uptrend. And Amazon, whoops, kind of that little Morningstar signal. And notice this is the typical move through a resistance level, comes back and tests it. Now they're starting to do kind of a little Morningstar signal. This one you definitely want to be buying. And if I recall correctly, they were already trading this one back up after hours. So if this breaks out through here, obviously your next target is going to be the 200-day moving average. If it breaches that, it's coming up here to fill the gap from that big gap down. So that, again, that Morningstar signal at the end of flat trading kind of tells you the bulls will step back in and you're going to have a high probability of a slingshot effect to the upside. So I'm showing these because anytime I see this type of thing, if this had closed more up toward the top end of the trading range, I would have probably bought some more. I already own some of this from our recommendation last week. But if this had, in this one, it will still be a buy if it opens positive tomorrow because of this signal right here, the Morningstar signal. And LTM. LTM, kind of your big scoop pattern, starting back up. And once again, just like the other ones, where as long as they were staying above the T line, you have this possibility of breaking out to the upside. Whiting, our long-term pick, notice what broke this out, this downtrending channel. A bullish Harami right on the 50-day moving average, a doji sandwich up through the T line, and then further confirmation. Where is this likely to go? Probably back up to the top of the trading range. So this is still good for a long-term hold. And J.C. Penney is now ready to be written up or recommended, because notice what's happening on the long-term chart of J.C. Penney. We're now just coming out of this fry pan bottom through this resistance level, making the next target probably up here in the 14.5 range, and then as high as close to the $18 area. So again, this is that fry pan bottom, starting the possibility of a slingshot effect to the upside. BIOF, still doing little J-hook patterns on the way up. This one you continue to own as long as it doesn't close below the T line. And BDSI, also a fry pan bottom just at the breakout area. That one plus move is in the process of breaking out. And HBI, let's make this a little bit bigger. HBI has a just, you can see the investor sentiment building up. And the nice thing for those trading options, nice thing about buying the options is how much excitement has there been in these options for the last 4 weeks? Very little. So you can buy these at very low premium. And if this starts popping, not only does your stock price or your option price accelerate, but the premium starts accelerating because everybody's excited about getting back into the trade. So these fry pan bottoms, like we see in HPJ, notice what they did over here. Gapped it up, consolidated, and they've still kept this trajectory of the fry pan bottom. You can still be buying this one with the prospect of coming back up toward the top of the trading range, which gives you a good high percentage target anyways. And VNet, same scenario. Notice where it's starting to break out. Right here where it really started getting junky, that's where the enthusiasm's coming in. So if I have a chance to play an uptrending stock or a stock that has a pattern, I'm going to go with a pattern because we know what the results are, and usually the results are going to be a lot greater percentage-wise than just an uptrending stock. BBRY, there's a little cup and handle. This one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading. Kind of that J-hook breakout. And we got a bunch more here. Oh, here's BLT. BLT, we're still long this because notice where it broke out. Right here at this resistance level, gaps up through that level. How long do we stay in it? As long as it doesn't do a sell signal or close back below the T line. So let's say Achilles, they were asking, yes, just you got a lot of waves in here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, but this wave 3 and this wave 2 might be this magnitude of move. So as long as we know we're in waves, the nice thing about a wave is you're not seeing exuberance in the stock. There's always getting some oh, now I forgot what I was saying. I was reading. Um, you're getting the exuberance out of the stock, which means it's a much more solid, more steady move to the upside. Could you move your pointer a little slower on that one? Oh, okay. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Just as long as you can see the patterns. TO, yes. We are, we're trying to, I guess the special is going to start here in the next few days. If you want to try the options room. I've got a few kind of professional traders. Some of the speakers that we've had in will probably be in the room to suggest different trading strategies. So what we're going to kind of try to set up is I'm going to come in trying to identify which charts or patterns look attractive, and then we'll have people in there showing the different strategies you can use against those patterns. When you say get into a stock immediately, if a stock opens a positive after a buy signal, you getting right at the open, or do you wait a few minutes? Mark, I usually wait maybe 2-3 minutes to make sure that they didn't open it and immediately start selling it off. I want to see that once they've opened it, there's some buying following it. Let's see. Twitter still has, and here's another thing too that a lot of people kind of lose the I want to say the visualization of. If we see something that looks like a sell signal, you still have to take a look at the whole chart. What's this whole chart telling us? That we're in an uptrend, we're not below the T line. So instead of it possibly being a sell signal, with the uptrend in progress, you can still kind of anticipate they're probably taking this one higher, probably, or provided the market opens up strong. Apple, same scenario. This is, again, the Japanese race traders saying that let the market tell you what the market's doing. If it's in a trend channel, you stay long until you see a sell signal, and you can buy back on the bottom of the trend channel. Yes, Yelp has been kind of a steady mover, and it does have a potential sell signal. But so far, it needs confirmation because notice where we are. We're still trading above the 3T line, let alone the T line. Other than real low volume, do you at volume at all? Other than real low, do you at volume? Look at volume at all? Yes. First of all, I wanted the volume to be reasonably good so that I can get in and out of the position. So the minimum is a $5 stock needs to trade at least 200,000 shares a day and start from there. Do you trade short in down waves A, B, C? Tony, I wouldn't be trading because they're an A, B, C. I'd be trading because there's a sell signal being confirmed and it's time to go short. But I'm usually shorting things in a downward trend that may have come up and now selling off. That's not the good example. Which one was it? NV. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. NVN. That's not it. I'll find one, Tony. NQ. Now NQ had a belt hold type signal. Looks like we're in what type of pattern? Maybe a fry pan bottom. Let's make this bigger. However, we can also observe there's really no enthusiasm anymore, which makes this fry pan bottom prospect pretty good. But at this point, with stochastics flattening out and the price flattening out, there's three things that they could do. Two of them are bad. One, it could go down. Two, it could go sideways, which you don't want either one of those. And right now, this chart isn't telling us whether it's going down, sideways, or up. So this is one where I'd rather close out the position, even though there's no confirmed sell, because we don't know where it's going from here, and then buy it back on the next buy signal. It has earnings on the 28th. All right, so that's something that I'd rather buy once I see what the signal is versus speculating that they could move it up or down from this point. So I will come out of positions when things aren't looking good, even though there might not be a confirmed sell signal. For example, SWKS, we were long this one, but we closed out the position today only because even in this strong market, this was still consolidating. It didn't close below the T line, but this was not showing any great strength. And with the market up as strong as it was, probably want to be in stocks that were still showing strength. NQ is a John Carter squeeze with momentum very slightly above zero, meaning some likelihood of firing bullish. Well, if that's the case, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Close out the position and put a buy stop right here, because if this breaks out, it doesn't matter whether you held on to it from $6.95 or bought it at $7.25. At least you know which direction it's going from then. So there's a lot of times where if we can recognize what pattern might be setting up, but there's no inclination of it so far. I mean, this to me is a fry pan bottom, which means if this is the dimple and this is kind of the start of it, there's still maybe 3, 4, 5 days, which puts us right into earnings. Could always put a buy stop up here and catch it as it's moving. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, JRJC had some very good profits in this one because we're in a 45 degree. I took some off today, about half the position, only because it was looking like it was doing a little wedge, and I can always buy it back if it breaks out through the upper part. Heikin Ashi is kind of a vanilla way to look at candlesticks. It's taking the average. If you just use candlesticks and the T-line, that kind of puts everything in a much more clear perspective. Heikin Ashi is just kind of a it vanillizes down the analytical process. Those are much more bigger words than I can say all in one sentence. Now, IMPV, another one that held on to it only for one reason, is because we are off a flutter kicker and then the 45 degree. I'm going to stay long on this as long as it doesn't close below the T line. Yeah, it means your gaps are kind of filled in, but it also means that by the time you see a sell signal in a Heikin Ashi pattern, you've already given up a good percentage of the profits. Okay, Y is one of those that I'm going to use in the illustration of observations. And when you see a big breakout, and then you see some profit taking, all you have to do is watch to see when the profit taking's over. So if we see a bullish harami 2 days after they've broken it out, that pretty much tells us the profit taking's over. you can be buying into this one again. So just, again, knowing these simple rules allows you to get into situations with much more confidence. You don't have to wait for additional confirmation. Let's see, I'm going to take a look at a few that looked good earlier in the day. This one, this is PVCT. This to me is a nice fry pan bottom breakout. You can be buying this one. It's a very low price stock, but it did have good volume. AAP, was this the one? Again, there's that kicker signal 45 degree. Let me take a look at APP. APP is also a nice fry pan bottom. Notice where it bottomed out, right smack dab on the 50. This one you can be buying. It's broken this kind of little downward trend channel. I mean, this is obvious that they're starting to take this one back up. This one also had good volume, so you could get in and out easily. Let's see, PRTA. PRTA, there's that slow curve getting ready, and if it moves, if it came up through the 50, showed support at the 50, where do you think your next target is? Up here, and that creates a decent rate of return. XONE, this is why you want to know what your pattern setups are. We've had a kind of a Morningstar signal, a doji, right here, kind of the downward resistance level. What's this tell us? It tells us if they open up positive, they're going to trade positive, and if they open positive, they're probably going to do a doji sandwich, and if they do a doji sandwich, they're breaking through this resistance. You want to be buying because your next target on a quick pop is probably right here at the 50. If it breaks up to the 50, it means your next target's up to the 200-day moving average. So just being able to gauge where your next price move is going to be tells you whether resistance levels are going to continue to act as a resistance or not. There's your J-hook pattern on CLVS. Another one that tells me that they're probably coming up here to the 200-day moving average. CELG, I think this was kind of a reaction to some of the biotechs being bought up. There's your breakout through this downward trend channel, kind of a double doji sandwich. J-hook pattern with a doji gap up tells us there's more upside, probably somewhat along the same lines as wave one over here. WRES, another one that's getting ready to get right to the breakout area. You can be buying this one on strength. And for some reason, I have TA. TA is another fry pan bottom, and when they break out and do a doji, very simple. If you see it open positive the next day, you can be buying immediately because that tells you the profit taking is over. They're going to take it up higher, and that's exactly what we were looking at today in ADEP. No, this was more of a doji after the gap up. If this opens positive tomorrow, they're taking it right up, and if they do another day like this, you're going to get pretty close to the 200-day moving average. Makes for a good day trade setup. We bought some LRAD, a low price stock, but you can see this breakout. There's your doji, moved positive. There's your pullback, left-right combo, right smack dab on the T-line, J-hook pattern. This one's probably got another wave like this in progress. And AXDX. There's that wee little scoop pattern telling you there's going to be a slingshot effect. BOT. CL or SCLN, another one that broke out through this level here. When they break out, this is what I was going to illustrate BLT on. When they break out, there's a good prospect you're in the next wave. see, PTLA, I think I did this one. Oh, there's that morning star signal, kind of scoop type pattern. OSUR. There's that slow curve. This one, we're sitting right on the breakout. You have a slow curve, strong move. If they break out, I mean, you can practically, I think I can do this without screwing up too bad. Whoops. Pretty much draw a line right down through the tops. So if they open this positive tomorrow, meaning open it higher and they start trading it higher, you want to be buying immediately because that's pretty much telling you that trend resistance level is not going to be there anymore. Let's see. That's not it. So it's probably WLL. Okay, yes, there's the same scenario. Broke out through this little downtrending channel. All right, I guess that's about all we got for tonight. Shoot, way over time. Is there any general questions on candlesticks? Oh, I think there is for J-hooks. And there is a scan that we wrote up for Metastock. Ed C., are you in here tonight? Ken asked that same question to Ed C. He may have... yeah, Ed C. is the person to ask for the scans. He's kind of the expert at setting up scans. All right. Okay. With that, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.8 seconds, do another double line. I don't know whether we've done scans for TradeStation yet or not. TradeStation's a little bit less friendly as far as their scanning. Tell us more about the training webinar you're going to be. Lori, there's lots of things that I point out that are just kind of observations, like a strong signal right here, breaking through this level, or a gap up doji that you can buy immediately on the next day, those type of things. So it's kind of putting together a lot of the information that works extremely well. They're just not categorized in. Also the stutter step, where it's kind of a double bottom, that sort of thing. So it'll be probably an accumulation of all the observations that I've made that are high profit trade setups that may not fit into a specific signal or pattern. Okay, let's take a look at some of these here. CLH, that's, let's see how strong that is. This one you can be buying still. There's their kind of little fry pan slow curve with a dimple breakout. Love these type of patterns. When they break out, there's usually a very strong price move. And HCLP, that one's setting up nicely for a slow curve. Notice where it's slow curving, right smack dab off the 50, right where the T line and the 50 are coming together. That's a good good chart, especially for timing. If you're an option trader, that's a perfect place to be buying because it's supporting. I mean, this is convergence right here. Hammer, bullish confirmation, support on the 50, through the T line, right at this level. If it opens positive, it's breaking out into the next wave to the upside. Bank of America. Bank of America's had a hard time really getting moving. But I guess it now has broken out through this level. You can be buying this one on positive trading from here, meaning it needs to open positive and start trading positive. Then you want to definitely use the T line as your stop. RH, another fry pan bottom right off the 50-day moving average. You can be buying this one. I'd probably be more aggressive if it came up through the 90, whatever that is, 94 area. But you can be buying this one with the anticipation. That thing just drives you to drink, doesn't it? Coming up to this level right here and breaking out. Let's see. Whoops, hold on. I clicked on the wrong spot here. VC. Another fry pan bottom getting ready to break out. And if it breaks out, where's the next logical target? Well, you're in this steady uptrend, probably right up in here someplace. Fold held up reasonably well today. Another case where it had a long-legged doji, double doji, and then moved positive. Still want to be buying this one if it opens positive, ever since it broke out with a gap up through that resistance level. XGTI, that one's trying. Let me make this bigger. You can be buying this one. Just have to make sure it gets through this little wedge type setup. Oh, let's see. That's a red candle. I'm sorry. Yeah, this one's puts you right back in. I probably wouldn't be doing anything with this one until they break out of this wedge. I discovered I am colorblind more so than I like to admit, which isn't too bad, except they've got a lot of stop signs amidst the trees out down my road. That makes things pretty tough at times. This one you buy on positive trading, telling you that they broke through this level in the 200. Next target would be the $17 area. LJPC, you buy this one on positive trading, your doji sandwich, and if they break out through this wedge, you definitely want to be a buyer. As a matter of fact, I would probably put a buy stop just above today's high. If it comes up through there, they're breaking out of this wedge formation. What is the target price on ACHN? Uh-oh. Well, again, using the waves, if this is a wave one, which is $5 coming out of here, $5 puts you up in about the $13 area. Southern Company, nothing that I'd get real excited about for two reasons. The rate of return isn't that great, and the chart isn't all that spectacular. I'd be trading someplace else. WPCS, this one, yeah, you still also got that slow uptrend, low price stock. I don't know what the volume was. That doesn't look like big volume on that one. I would rather see it break out through the 200 before doing anything with it. And CPRX. That's a nice little breakout. This one, you can expect a 45 degree to come off of this one. And ENZN. Just stay long as it stays above the T-line. With the stochastics up in the overbought area on a trend like this, I just put my stop at the previous day's open. Because if they've had a big day and they could come back down through that open, that means the sellers have taken over, the exhaustion has set in. ECA, another one that I'd rather pay just a little bit more for it, knowing it came up through the 50. But that's kind of a rounding bottom in here, so the 50 is going to probably act as some sort of resistance level. And another one that I would rather pay a little bit higher for, probably 33, but just be careful in this one from what I can see. your rate of return isn't going to be all that magnificent on this one. Let's see. And if it has another move like that, you at least got a 12% return. THRM, little kicker type signal, little scoop type pattern. This one you can be buying, knowing or anticipating they're going to bring it back up to the top of this trend channel. So that's about a 2.5 point move to the upside. Big enough for a trade anyways. And WAB, another one you just have to be careful of the lack of return on this one. It's a nice, steady, slow uptrend, but that's the best you can say about it is slow. If you own it, you just stay long. But I'd be trading somewhere else. Trula has a nice fry pan bottom setup. Bah, humbug. You stay long as it stays in this trajectory and stays above the T-line. This is the big breakout. This is the consolidation. The consolidation was over right here. You just stay long as it stays above the T-line. BITA had a nice little J-hook pattern today. You stay long on this one until you see a sell signal. And DDD did all right. This one's setting up for a doji sandwich, but it's got the first resistance level right up there at the 50, whereas XONE, XONE, that 50 is a little bit further away. There's about a 10% move to get up to that one. And so if this opened positive tomorrow with a doji sandwich, got a little bit more upside potential with it. AVNR, that's a, notice how they gapped up through the resistance level on this kind of fry pan bottom. This one you can be buying. That one's a good looking chart. The Russell 2000. Little steady uptrend. Notice what it did when it got to the 50. Indecisive. Still use the T-line as support. Now it's got a J-hook pattern. That's a good indication they're still moving this one higher. Power, we recommended this one today. Was it today? Also a J-hook type setup. So if it comes up through, let's say the 12, whatever this is, 1240, you can be buying with the anticipation that there's nothing to stop it other than the 200-day moving average. That would be your first target. Navistar. Navistar, it's not anything real aggressive at this point. I think what they did was exactly what we'd anticipated to do, is it moved from kind of the bottom of the trend channel to the top of the trend channel. Now, unless they break through this level up here, I'd probably be out of it. I'd rather be out of it and buy it if it broke. Dang, that thing. I'd rather buy it up through here, telling me they've now got a new dynamic in that price move. Array, that one's still having a hard time getting out of its trend channel. This downtrending channel. If this opens lower tomorrow, you close out the position and or you could possibly go short. SWIR. All you can do is stay long until you see a sell signal. At this point, I would probably put a stop at this level right here. This is not a sell signal. That's not a dark cloud. It needed to close right about here to be a dark cloud. I wouldn't want to see it trade back below this level. That would tell me they're coming back to the T-line. Ford, you kind of, would be more of a longer term hold. Short term, you should be out of it and possibly going short if on a trade, probably back down to the double bottom setup right here. But for longer term, we're still holding this stock with the anticipation that it's still going to be over the next X number of months, 6, that you could be up in the $20, $24, $25 area. ZLTQ. Let's make this bigger again. Up move, consolidation. There's your Morningstar signal, right smack dab on the T line. Up move. You can still be buying this one on a positive open tomorrow. The doji sandwich taking you away from the T line. And King came up but then closed back below the T line. So this one you wanted to close out. This is one that even if I bought it here and it traded up, when it closed back below the T line, that would have told me get back out of this. More than likely, if I bought it here, let's make this big enough. On a gap up, that it should have been going positive. When it came back down through the open, that would have been my first sign to close it out. When it went below the T line, that would have been my second sign to close it out. And if I still held on to it at the end of the day, I would have closed it out. So that one fizzled. This is why you really want to see when they drop something real big, you definitely need to see it close above the T line. Otherwise, the T line acts as a resistance. And HPJ, you stay with this one. That's a nice fry pan bottom breaking out. MU. This one you can stay long. It's not a very exciting mover, but it's big enough. It moves big enough that it's worth trading. Right now, if you're long, you stay long as it doesn't close below the T line. And as you can see, they haven't even closed this back below the 3 T line. EMO. EMM. No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to type. I like to make the same mistake 7 times. All you can do here, that's that slow curve. You've got the possibility of a breakout through this level, which could give you some running room, which means you're getting near the top. And SSYS, this one you can be buying on positive trading. Kind of a doji sandwich setup. If they traded it back up through today's open, you can be a buyer. Telling you they're probably breaking it up through this level. Notice again, the gap up, the consolidation, and the one thing they couldn't do was close it below the T line. DHX, nothing there to get real excited about. If I was buying this, I'd rather see it come up through the 880 area before doing anything with it. And TLT, this one, all you can do is stay long as it stays above the T line. We did power. ARWR is another one of those that fits into that the biotechs. I think when I saw this, it was trading up in this range after hours because it was mentioned on one of the programs after the close. And ACHN was the first one they mentioned after the close. Or that is a buyout. That wasn't even a coherent sentence. This one was also mentioned after hours that it could be a buyout. So it was trading up into the 1150 area. Somebody said as high as 1174 after the close. So this one is your fry pan bottom, your J-hook pattern. A good possibility of a nice breakout on this one. GDX stays short. Let's see, now we're Twitter we did. Uh-oh. Twitter, you stay long. Look for a doji sandwich setup tomorrow. Lori, I'm guessing that was in reference to the observations. That's probably going to be a couple weeks before I put that all together. Do you have any advice on trading options on futures, Marty? Nothing more than trading options on futures as you would stock. Make sure the underlying is doing what the chart, or first you analyze the underlying. I've never traded the options on futures only because I've got too many things to trade already. When are you going to do a session on entry and exits? We didn't. I thought we did one not too long ago. We'll, as now that we're getting back, probably after September 1st, when everybody starts getting back to our desks, we will probably have a members training session at least once a week for the next 8 or 12 weeks. We did fold. Let's see. Enron. This one you can be buying. Again, the magnitude of return isn't all that spectacular. I always have a fond spot in this one. This is, I think, the spinoff of Enron Oil and Gas. I had a buddy in Houston who was a vice president of Enron, or EOG, and he only had, at that time, this was probably 10 years ago, he only had 400 cars in storage. Facebook, just stay long as it stays above the T line. Okay, I think we got most of it. BITA stay long. That one's kind of a J-hook pattern today. So you see a sell signal. Okay, let's see. An oil rebound? I don't think so. I think right now oil's showing us that yeah, there's nothing there yet. And let's see, a couple more. ICPT. That's telling you that the looks like the consolidation's over. This one you can definitely be buying on positive trading tomorrow, the Doji sandwich. And corn still sluggish. Corn, soybeans, all of them are, I think the reason is, even though we've had a big downtrend, we're still seeing probably bumper crops potential this year. All right, last one, MGNX. Nothing there yet to get real excited about. You can see that there's kind of a big rounding bottom, but you need to see a strong signal to break this one out. Okay, with that, let's call it a night. Mura, I'll do yours just because. CNX, nothing you can do with this one except stay long until you see a sell signal. Okay, hope everybody's making money in this market. Obviously, having some calls today on ITMN has paid for a good portion of, paid for the at least a third of the barn. And now I'm hoping that the same is happening right now in ACHN, that if they get that one popping, there's going to be some big profits in this one also. So with that, everybody have a good evening. We'll see you bright and early in the chat rooms.